People are masters of disguise. They say one thing with their mouths, but reveal something entirely different through their actions. We tend to trust words, kind, compliments, promises, apologies. But the real truth hides in the subtle reactions we often miss. A smile might seem genuine, but what about the eyes? A quick nod might hide hesitation. Machiavelli, the great strategist, understood this deeply. He knew that words can be crafted, rehearsed, and manipulated, but instinctual behavior, the silent language of our reactions, cannot be faked. In today's world, where trust is a rare currency, learning to read between the lines and watch these silent signals is a superpower. What if you could quietly uncover someone's true intentions without confrontation or drama? In this video, I'll reveal 7 powerful psychological tests inspired by Machiavelli himself, tests that will help you expose the truth behind every mask before words even come into play. When it comes to understanding the true intentions of those around us, it's often said that actions speak louder than words. Machiavelli, the keen observer of human nature, knew this better than most. Words can be polished, rehearsed, and easily manipulated to serve a purpose. But beneath the surface, subtle reactions and instinctual behaviors reveal far more honest truths, especially when people believe no one is closely watching. Machiavelli devised several psychological tests to quietly expose these hidden motives. The first 4 tests focus on everyday interactions, where most masks begin to slip. The celebration test. Picture this: you have just achieved a significant milestone, whether it's a promotion, recognition, or a personal victory. Naturally, you share this exciting news with those around you, expecting congratulations and genuine happiness. But what you should pay close attention to isn't the words they say, it's the way they say them and the speed of their reaction. True friends and allies don't hesitate. Their joy is instantaneous. Their eyes light up. Their smiles reach them fully and warmly, and their voice carries sincere enthusiasm. In contrast, some people smile late, as if their mind is racing to catch up with their facial expression. Their words may be polite, but their eyes betray hesitation or discomfort. This tiny delay is a revealing moment, one that signals envy or even fear of your success rather than happiness for it. In everyday life, you might notice a coworker who congratulates you but quickly looks away or changes the subject. That split-second pause speaks louder than the congratulations they utter. It means they aren't celebrating your rise. They might even be silently hoping you stumble. Understanding this subtle reaction helps you separate true supporters from hidden rivals, giving you clarity about who genuinely wishes you well. The denied favor test. The second test is deceptively simple, yet incredibly telling. Imagine asking someone for a small favor, something easy like a ride, feedback, or a connection, and then immediately retracting the request. You say, "Never mind," or "I figured it out, thanks," and observe what happens next. If the person visibly relaxes, their smile eases, or their tone brightens as soon as you take back the favor, you're witnessing something important. They weren't planning to help you in the first place. Their relief is a silent confession that your request was an unwelcome burden. This subtle shift is a crack in the polite facade, exposing a hidden calculation. They want to maintain distance and avoid commitment. In reality, many people present themselves as friendly and helpful, but become scarce or evasive when you actually need them. They forget, make excuses, or simply disappear. This test helps you recognize those who are not allies, but liabilities, people whose politeness masks self-interest and avoidance. Knowing this early saves you the disappointment of misplaced trust and wasted energy. The credit split test. How people handle praise after a shared success reveals their true attitudes toward teamwork and respect. After accomplishing something together, pay attention to whether the other person acknowledges your contribution or seeks to claim all the credit. Genuine collaborators emphasize the collective effort. They might say, "We both did great work," or "I was just following your lead." This openness builds trust and strengthens the relationship, showing they value partnership over ego. On the other hand, some people accept praise silently, letting it soak in without acknowledgement, or worse, they subtly redirect it solely to themselves. They might say, "Yeah, I really pushed it over the line," minimizing your role or rewriting the story in their favor. This behavior reveals entitlement and insecurity. They see success as a ladder, where you are a step below, not as a shared journey. In practical terms, this could be the business partner, who takes all the accolades publicly, or the teammate who never credits your ideas. Such people don't see collaboration as mutual growth, but as competition for status. Recognizing this early on protects you from being overshadowed and exploited in the long run. The small disagreement test. Finally, how someone reacts to minor disagreements offers a profound glimpse into their character and ego. This test involves expressing a gentle difference of opinion, something as simple as saying, "I actually see it differently." Or, "That's an interesting point, but I think," observe their reaction carefully. Do they listen and engage thoughtfully? Do they ask questions or try to understand your perspective? Or do they become defensive, raising their voice, mocking your point, or withdrawing entirely? Some people cannot tolerate even the smallest resistance because they crave control and submission, not equality. In everyday life, this might look like a friend or co-worker who dismisses your viewpoint outright or becomes visibly agitated by polite disagreement. Their intolerance signals a dangerous desire to dominate rather than collaborate. These are the people who punish independent thinking and will likely oppose you when stakes are higher. On the other hand, healthy relationships, whether personal or professional, thrive on respectful debate. They allow space for different opinions, understanding that growth and innovation come from diversity of thought. This test helps you distinguish between those who seek partners and those who want followers. Together, these 4 tests are invaluable tools for seeing through the masks people wear. They help you detect underlying feelings of envy, reluctance to help, unwillingness to share credit, and intolerance of dissent, all indicators of hidden agendas. Machiavelli's brilliance was in creating subtle pressure points that expose true intentions before they become damaging. Applying these tests doesn't require confrontation or dramatic reveals. It's about quiet observation, watching how people react naturally under gentle social pressures. Over time, these insights sharpen your judgment, allowing you to build a trusted network of allies who truly support your growth while protecting yourself from those who might quietly undermine you. In a world where appearances can deceive, mastering these subtle cues is essential. It's not about being paranoid or suspicious, but about cultivating clarity and wisdom in your relationships. Knowing who celebrates your success without hesitation, who is relieved when you withdraw a favor, who shares credit fairly, and who respects your voice in disagreement, empowers you to navigate life's complex social landscape with confidence. Let's pause here and bring these ideas into the real world, because theory alone can feel abstract. The first 4 tests we discussed aren't just clever observations. They reflect dynamics that play out every day in workplaces, friendships, and even families. Understanding this helps us see how small moments often predict bigger outcomes. Take, for example, a professional relationship I once observed. A rising team leader shared their recent promotion with a colleague who smiled and said all the right things. Yet when this colleague thought no one was watching, their eyes betrayed a flicker of hesitation, an unspoken reluctance to celebrate someone else's success. Over time, subtle signs appeared: delayed responses when help was needed, credit quietly taken without acknowledgement, and intolerance whenever the leader expressed a differing opinion. This wasn't overt sabotage, but a quiet, corrosive envy that undermined trust and made collaboration difficult. This story illustrates exactly why Machiavelli's tests work. They catch these patterns early before resentment hardens into betrayal. Most people go through life assuming the smiles and compliments are sincere. But behind the polished words, emotions run deeper and often more honestly in moments of low pressure or minor stress. By creating small earthquakes or these gentle stress points, you reveal who truly supports your rise and who is quietly waiting for you to stumble. Another everyday example is the friend who seems eager to help, but suddenly becomes too busy when you actually ask for assistance. You might not notice immediately, but when you retract the favor, their relief is unmistakable. It's a moment of truth disguised as a casual interaction, one that speaks louder than any excuse they could give. These stories remind us that human nature is layered and complex. But with patience and careful observation, you can start to see through the performances. The goal isn't to mistrust everyone, but to build relationships with people who genuinely want to see you succeed and to protect yourself from those who don't. In this way, Machiavelli's ancient wisdom remains incredibly relevant today, guiding us to navigate social landscapes with clarity and strategic calm. As we move deeper into Machiavelli's psychological toolkit, the next 3 tests become more strategic and subtle. While the first 4 tests help expose basic attitudes and instincts, these advanced tests reveal how people behave when power dynamics shift, when social pressure increases, or when opportunities to exploit weakness arise. Understanding these behaviors not only uncovers true intentions, but also offers clues on how to regain or maintain control in complex relationships. The delayed response test, one of the simplest yet most telling ways to gauge someone's loyalty and priorities, is to observe how quickly they respond to your messages, especially when timing matters. We've all experienced the frustration of waiting for a reply, wondering if the other person values our time or our relationship at all. Machiavelli's insight was that responsiveness reveals a hidden agenda. If someone consistently takes their time to reply when you need them, but responds immediately and eagerly when they need something from you, they're treating you as a tool rather than a true ally. Their loyalty is transactional. They're quick to show up when it benefits them, but slow or indifferent when the favor is reversed. This test is about more than just etiquette or busyness. It's a litmus test for respect and prioritization. Those who delay only when it suits their own needs are quietly signaling their place in your hierarchy. They don't see you as equal or important. Recognizing this pattern early allows you to adjust your expectations and protect yourself from emotional drain or strategic exploitation. The public praise test. Social settings add a new layer to human behavior. People often perform differently when others are watching, and Machiavelli knew that true intentions become clearer under the spotlight of public attention. This test is simple praise. Someone in front of others, and watch how they respond. A genuine person will often reciprocate the compliment, lift you up in return, or at least acknowledge your role. They see success and praise as a shared currency understanding, that elevating others doesn't diminish their own value. Conversely, some people react by absorbing all the credit themselves or subtly shifting the spotlight away from you. They may become louder, more dominant, or dismissive of your presence, clearly signaling that they see themselves as superior, not partners or equals. This behavior uncovers image builders who value status above relationships and who use social praise as a tool to enhance their own position. The brilliance of this test is that it uses social leverage to expose ego and ambition. When the crowd is watching, people's true colors shine through, and their actions reveal what words often try to conceal. The controlled disadvantage test, perhaps the most powerful and revealing of all, is the controlled disadvantage test. Here, you deliberately give someone a small upper hand. You let them win an argument, agree to their terms, or allow them to feel like they've gained an advantage over you. But you do so strategically, waiting to see how they behave once they believe they hold the power. True allies respond with gratitude and reassurance. They protect the relationship, recognize the grace shown, and don't attempt to escalate their newfound dominance. They understand that power in relationships is balanced by trust and mutual respect. However, those with hidden agendas lean in aggressively. Instead of safeguarding the connection, they push harder, taking more than what was offered. They test boundaries, escalate demands, and expose a hunger for control disguised as opportunism. For them, kindness is weakness, and they see any concession as an invitation to dominate. Machiavelli often used this test in political courts, pretending to lose small battles, just to observe who would exploit the moment. The lesson here is profound. Real power is not shown in how someone behaves when they're losing, but in how they act when they think they're winning. Together, these three tests do more than just uncover intentions, they reveal strategies. They show you who respects the balance of give and take, who values relationships beyond convenience, and who treats power as a weapon to be wielded without remorse. In practical terms, mastering these tests helps you avoid costly mistakes, investing trust in manipulators, letting toxic people into your inner circle, or being blindsided by opportunists when your guard is down. They also empower you to take back control. By observing these behaviors calmly, you gain the upper hand, not through confrontation, but through strategic withdrawal adjustment and subtle signals. For example, if you notice someone delays their responses when you reach out, but quickly demands your time when they need help, you learn to adjust your availability accordingly. If a person constantly absorbs praise without returning it, you become more cautious about giving them public attention or credit. And if someone exploits the small advantages you grant, you tighten boundaries and prepare for their next move, all without revealing you're aware of their tactics. Machiavelli's tests remind us that relationships are not just emotional connections, but dynamic power structures. Navigating these structures requires more than kindness or good intentions. It demands careful observation, patience, and a strategic mindset. These advanced tests teach us that power is fluid, and that revealing true intentions early allows you to adapt your approach, whether that means stepping back, reshaping roles, or reinforcing your own position. It's about moving beyond hope or assumptions and building a world where your trust is earned and your influence is protected. When you apply these tests thoughtfully, you no longer react blindly to people's words or actions. Instead, you respond to patterns. You see the unseen currents beneath conversations and interactions. You gain clarity and confidence that shield you from manipulation and position you to build alliances that are real, resilient, and mutually empowering. Once you have uncovered someone's true intentions, the next challenge is deciding how to respond. Machiavelli's approach is clear. Don't rush to confrontation or emotional reactions. The first step is to maintain your calm and composure. If you immediately call out or cut off the person, you alert them to your awareness, giving them a chance to craft new masks and hide their motives even better. Instead, act as if nothing has changed. Keep interactions polite and neutral while internally shifting your view of that person from ally to a potential risk. This calm detachment disarms manipulators because they thrive on emotional reactions. Next, it's important to shift your mindset from investing in this person to carefully extracting what you still need from the relationship. You don't have to sever ties completely, but you recalibrate your time, trust, and resources. Instead of freely giving, you focus on what you can gain without overextending yourself. This measured approach protects your energy and influence, ensuring you are not drained by someone who doesn't have your best interests at heart. You may also need to reposition their role within your social or professional circle. Not everyone who fails your tests deserves to be cut off entirely. Some can still serve a purpose if their influence is limited. By isolating their access to sensitive information or pairing them with more loyal allies, you contain their potential damage. Machiavelli understood that subtle shifts in status and access are often more effective than open conflict. With this knowledge, you reinforce your personal boundaries and frame. You become less available, share less, and speak with calm neutrality. You validate less and respond more sparingly. This change in posture sends a clear message: you are no longer vulnerable to manipulation, making you harder to move or control. In short, strategic handling is a disciplined dance of patience and precision. You don't react impulsively. You respond with quiet power, turning insight into advantage. The truth once seen can never be unseen. That is the core of the Machiavellian doctrine of exposure. When you quietly reveal someone's true intentions, the balance of power shifts irrevocably. You may choose to pretend everything is fine for the sake of peace or strategy, but deep inside, something has changed. You no longer respond blindly to words. You respond to patterns, to the reality behind the facade. Machiavelli taught that power lies not in confrontation, but in subtlety, moving without warning, adjusting your position silently, while others remain unaware. Those who fail your tests may continue to act as if nothing has happened, but you now hold the key to controlling the dynamic. You give no excessive validation, offer no explanations, and avoid emotional reactions. Instead, you become harder to read and harder to manipulate. This doctrine also comes with important rules. Never reveal that you've tested or exposed someone. People hate being caught, but fear being outmaneuvered. If they realize you've seen through their mask, they may retaliate or attempt emotional manipulation. By keeping your insight secret, you keep the advantage. Contain the threat by closing information leaks, limiting access, and neutralizing influence without drama. Use silence and subtle distance to let their paranoia grow, often causing them to withdraw on their own. And most importantly, use what you've learned to filter future relationships, introducing small tests early to avoid hidden dangers. Exposure is a gift. It brings clarity in a world full of masks. What you do with that clarity is true power. Master this art, and you'll protect your circle, sharpen your judgment, and rise quietly but confidently above those who only perform.